Okay, Andy,
Hey,
Burr, Burr.
it's cold out there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
about El Nino. Isn't El Nino? We're supposed to be all drinking little tutti frutti cocktails this winter with little umbrellas.
It reminds me of my days in Fort St. John when
Oh,
yeah, I used to work on the oil rigs up there in the early 80s and yeah, 40 below and that kind of stuff and being up on the stick uh, and wearing the huge, I had these huge insulated coveralls and you'd be like spaceman type thing.
yeah, it brings me back to my youth. It's funny, we share Alberta, of course, at 18, 19. Went to go grow up in Banff and worked at the Banff Springs Hotel in the kitchen. And there, easy. I think I got up there the first part of August, and 3 weeks into August, there was the first snowfall. And I'm like, why am I up here again?
Yeah, yeah.
And that cold, you get used to it. We're not used to it down here when you live up
No,
there.
no, and it's but it's brisk, and I kind of like brisk
Hmm.
uh,
And clear.
and clear and all those kind of things. Our dreary, sad winters are can be depressing, and but we always need to look for that bright spot. We always need.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, please tell me the real estate numbers are not as cold as what it feels like outside at -20. The numbers can't say that we're down over 20%.
Well, should I go right into the numbers?
You know what? I would love to know because it's going to be an interesting year. I just know it.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen then.
You betcha. I look forward to it.
Ah, okay, so here we are. I do have to say though, for our market statistics, that December was my busiest month for the year. That
Wow.
did seem to be a lot of pent up demand in the North Langley area, or where no, but I had deals all over. I sold the our listing over in North Vancouver and one in Bear Creek. So yeah, no, it December was a great month for me, and not every realtor felt that, but it just shows that there's signs of pent up purchasers ready to do something if the right market conditions are there. So I just let me get into the stats here. So for sales for the month of December, the board processed 837 sales throughout the Fraser Valley. That's a 6% decrease from November of the previous month, which is going against what I did. However, it was a 17% increase from
Oh,
just
wow.
2022. And December 2022, that was, we're right in the doldrums there.
Mhm.
Supply of new inventory. Now, this is where it starts to get interesting again. In December 2023, our inventory decreased by 54% from November 2023. And that means that, yes, the sales were going through. And however, that is an increase of 17% compared to the same month of last year. So inventory is in a flux, and this is going to affect our market going forward. So to look on the graphs to get a better picture of that, here we've got 2022 December, last or the month of November, and that we're way up here in terms of
Mhm.
2000 um, listings, and then of course we dropped right down to 942, and the sales are being fairly consistent, but the sales were up over last year. So this our inventory had been climbing in November, and then it decreased in December because of the amount of sales that went through. So here we looking at our inventory in terms of the long view, and that you can see there was the stress test came in, COVID was here, our interest rates started to climb, and then that was the height of the market at the same time. Inventory fell off, and then from here, the inventory started building up again, and uh, November was really high, and we're almost into that buyer's market. and then December fell off. And also, too, December is a month that we usually do see inventory fall off, but not to that extent. If you look, here's December
Mhm.
2022, and 2020 or is here. So, usually it is following a trend of a cyclical annual trend.
And
And
it also looks like, Andy, just if you can kind of go back to that slide, just, me, I'm a visual learner. It seems like the cycles are tightening up. Like when we look at the left-hand side of this graph, it's like, and then going on to the other side, it's like, okay, we got a dip, but it comes back up, it goes back down. Like it looks like the cycles are tightening. Is that in fact what I'm seeing?
well, this is the COVID cycle here, and
Right.
that was of course unusual. Look at the amount of inventory that
Yes.
we had once COVID hit in May 2020, and we all thought that the market was just going to fall off, that the economy is
Mhm.
going to die, and that the world was coming to an end. But the sales started taking off with the low interest rates, people wanting to get out of the city, and
Mhm.
that's what this really hammered our inventory levels, and also to the underlying fact that historically since the 80s and 90s we have had low inventory.
Mhm.
So this kind of compounded a lot of things with low interest rates, people wanting to move and out to the valley, and low inventory, building starts. That this is where this cycle,
Mm.
and then of course they
Okay.
raised interest rates, and that kind of brought that inventory. But you can even see here's the interest rates started coming in. Our inventory already started climbing. Like we were already coming out of the COVID trench, you might call it, and
Mhm.
the market was returning to a semblance of normality. But they came in with the higher interest rates to deal with inflation, and that again brought our inventory really
Mhm.
low. Yeah. So looking at our MLS statistics for our inventory for the month of December, you can see how this our inventory has dropped from month over month. And again, too,
Mhm.
that is not unusual, although it was a bit of a bigger drop for detached housing, and that. But it is the usual what is expected to be found in December. And that too, like if you bought something in December, you were buying something from somebody that really wanted to sell, and
Mhm.
there were some deals to be had there. And then so here's our Fraser Valley Housing Price Index, the HPI, and that is coming up with an average type home, average type townhouse, and average type condo. And you can see that our pricing has dropped off. We're 4 months in a declining pricing, and same roughly with townhouses and condos. But I suspect that with the lower interest rates, that little bit of surge that we saw, that this is going to level off, and we're going to see not a bad spring market coming out.
So good opportunities.
There could be, yeah, now is a good opportunity to buy. Yeah, and if I have a listing, I'm more or less saying that hang in there, don't take the
Mhm.
first low ball offer. Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And so then for the inventory for Langley, so this is showing Langley. So our condo market has dropped off quite a bit. Townhouses inventory has stayed roughly the same. And look at this decrease from detached homes. But we're still, if this is a balanced market, we came out of the buyer's market in November. And this is what I was sort of seeing in terms of my local business, is that the sales were taking place. There was not enough inventory, and like in Bedford Landing, we have a listing there, and it's the only house for sale.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're gonna see inventory start coming out, but at this point things are a little bit tight. And I'm almost sounding a broken wheel over and over and over again, but until we build up our inventory stock, and Langley, we are doing a lot of building here. We are doing a lot of development. but throughout the Fraser Valley, it is a little bit tight. So this is our whole price index for Langley. You can see that we hit a high here in August of last year, and that it's been a little bit of a slow decline in terms of pricing, but not a
Not
lot.
much though.
No,
Not much.
I didn't do the percentage, but like it's you're probably looking at 1 or 2% maybe.
Yeah.
It's August, and then it's the same for townhouses and condos. Basically it's a little bit of a flat line, and I wouldn't be surprised that we see this again just level off. We've become a better, good, healthier market. That's what I would like to
Mhm.
think, and I would like to see. Nothing spectacular like crazy pricing going up, and also sales volume going down. So that's it. Those are my market stats. And next month will be February 9th, and I'll stop my share.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting market, and I just want to say it was a quite a joy to follow your Christmas lights last month,
Yeah, that was a lot.
and uh, and the person who won it was incredibly grateful and showed up on your post. So that was Fort Langley is gorgeous, and when people just take some of the very simple houses that had incredible light displays, really put a beautiful, pardon the pun, but shine out there in Fort Langley. Absolutely glorious.
And I don't think the pictures really
Hmm.
grabbed, the what some people had done, and gone to the effort of, and it was a lot of fun. It's something I've wanted to do for many years, and never really, sort of kicked myself in the ass to get it going. And I hope to do it again next year. We had some great businesses. We had
Hmm.
Tap House, Wendo's, Cranberries Naturally, um, who else was the Fort
Oh,
Langley
Manji,
Jazz Festival, Magic.
yeah, and Manji
Yeah,
Scapia. It
yeah,
was just
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. They
So
were all
speaking
donated.
So speaking of the festival, we've got something we're planning because many people out there know that we're both directors on the board.
Yes, yeah.
In May, on May 3rd, we've got, like we did last year, a bit of a spring dance. So great opportunity to get out and,
Yeah, our spring
have some
dance
fun.
is coming up again on the first weekend in May.
May,
Yeah, what's the date again? The
May 3rd, May
May
3rd.
3rd. Thank you. Yeah, I better not forget. But and it
No.
sold out last year. I mean, it was
Yeah.
exciting. We had a swing dance. I think this year we're going to do an R&B. There'll
Mhm.
be door prizes. There'll be 50/50. There'll be donated gifts with a silent auction
Yeah.
and great music. And there'll be a bar, cash bar, which I'm looking after. And it was a good local event, and we
Oh,
really.
it was so much fun.
I mean, we raised a little bit of money for the Jazz Festival. It's always a struggle to keep the organization moving forward. But at the same time, this kind of event, it really kind of brings the community together, and
And
we're
educate
having a lot of
what
fun.
we do.
Yeah,
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 and educate. Sometimes you just got to educate before you want to try and get people to open their wallets, and it was so good. And
yes,
then we've got, of course, our early bird going on for the Blues Festival, where you can
yeah,
save some money too on 2 tickets. So look for
yes,
that on the
yeah.
festival page.
Yeah, go to the Fort Langley Jazz and Arts page, because we do have every month we're going to have a different kind of special, but the
Mhm.
best ones are now. Actually the absolute best one was last month in December, but we're having an underlying contest, and that you better read on the page, because that's going to run for the 4 months, and I don't want to give it away here, but I would like you to go to the Fort Langley Jazz and Arts Festival webpage, check it out, what that underlying contest is, because it is meeting somebody in
It's
person,
big.
and it'll be a lot of fun. Yes.
So, Andy, I've got a crazy question as I wrap up my last thing that I know what's happening this weekend in the Walnut Grove area. Has Andy ever driven a motorcycle or ridden a motorcycle?
Have I?
Yes.
Uh, yes, I have. I've owned several over the years. It's been a
Yes.
long time since I've rode a bike, but yeah, yeah. Actually, when I first met my wife, we traveled around BC quite a bit on a bike.
So I noticed that at Motorsports in like 200th and the Freeway area. The International Motorsports Motorcycle Show is going on this weekend.
Oh, really?
It
Wow.
started is yesterday, today, tomorrow. Everything motorcycle, old, classic, new. There's going to be food trucks. Looks like a great time to get out of the cold, go experience the open road in your head as you're looking at motorcycles. So I saw that and went, wow, that's a good family event to go to, whether you're,
Yeah.
just to get out and keep warm and enjoy the beautiful sunshine.
Yes, yes, yeah. No, that and it's an interesting spot, that 200th and just south of the
Oh,
freeway.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a few businesses in there that it's like a little bit like a warehouse uh, uh, design, and I do pop in there quite a bit.
So there you go. Thank you
Yeah,
again for letting me do the what's on in Langley portion as you educate me consistently month after month about what the numbers mean, because I look at numbers and I just want to add and subtract, and I know you have a whole different methodology when you are looking at the real estate numbers.
yeah, and it's going to be an interesting year. I think it's going to be a recovery year. And there's going to be, I think there'll be a new inventory coming out, which is here in Langley. There's a lot of building going on, and I think it will continue. We'll see a lot of new homes, condos, townhouses, and also too, the Walnut Grove, Fort Langley area has
Mhm.
always held its value, and that here you can have a family home and raise your kids.
So on that note, I will see
Yeah.
you on screen next month, February the 9th.
February the 9th. Okay. We'll see you, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.